Gather around, people. Gather around. And let's get into it. It is time for yet another tier list. Who doesn't love tier lists? Welcome, everyone. Today, we're covering the best trade civilizations in Age of Empires 4. I know what you're thinking. You're wrong. So let's get into it. Now, the way I'm going to do this is very simple. I have consulted one diamond player named Marine Lord as well for his opinion, and we have reached a conclusion. This is how it's going to work. We got S, A, B, C, D tier, and then we got the civs that have no bonuses. All right? So, with that being said, what I'm going to base this tier list is not which civs gives the most gold, because that's stupid. I'm going to base the tier list how viable it is in 1 versus 1. Why? Because in team games, you can go deli trade and you can make it work. You know what I mean? So in team games, the maps are bigger. It's a lot easier to trade. So what I'm going to be talking about, even for 1-on-1 and 2v2 mainly, which civs are the most viable and which civs are best for trading, which civs get the most value out of the gold they're getting, right? And not just on pure bonuses, how much extra gold they're getting, right? So with that being said, we're going to get a couple of civs out of the way that have no bonuses. That's HRE, that's English, that's Chinese, Delhi, and Rus. Now I do want to say, Rus has a unique upgrade actually for their traders that I didn't realize until I made this video, or until I gathered some info for this video. And that bonus is Boyar's Fortitude, the plus 30 health for their cavalry, also gives the health to the traders. So traders are cavalry, but they don't take bonus damage from spearmen like cavalry. I don't know why that is, but that's how it is. With that being said, we got 5 civs remaining, and I'm going to place them in order. We got 5 tiers and 5 civs. We are going to start with French. Now, French is an interesting one. You don't see French booming too much. In 1-on-1, the meta is changing a bit. French are going for trade and so on and so forth. But in team games, French usually just makes mass knights and goes for it. With that being said, French is going to be in the C tier. Now, I'm going to also cover all the bonuses that each civ has for trading, and why it's good and why it's bad and why it is where it is. So, one of the French bonuses, which is a unique bonus, French can see markets at the start of the game. Now, this is obviously good if you want to make an instant decision, if you're going to trade, if you're going to not trade, where the markets are. It's good to know, right? So that's one bonus that they have, but it's nothing major because you would get it anyway if you just went around and scouted a little bit. So it is what it is. For games like Nomad, French trading is really good because you can see where the trade posts are, so you know where to place your TC. But I'm not going to cover Nomad for every civ. I'm just giving you guys an example where that's really, really good. Now, the only real, they only have 2 things going for them in trading, and that is Chamber of Commerce, aka COC, and they have another thing, which is the ability to trade not only gold, but trade food or wood. So they used to be able to get stone as well. That is removed. So French can send traders to get gold, or they can switch traders individually, or you can select 20 traders and change them to food so they get food back, or wood. Now, Chamber of Commerce is a landmark that has been changed a couple of months ago. It used to provide bonus gold. Now what it does is every time you research economic upgrades such as survival techniques, pro scouts, wheelbarrow, horticulture, double broadaxe, forestry, specialized mining, pick thing, you will get a free trader. Now, this also works for dock economic upgrades, which is the one that makes it so that your fishing ships carry more food. So that one also works. So whenever you research one of those, you basically will start producing a free trader from cock. If you research all of them, you will get free trader for each one of them. And then if you age up to castle, you can research the next version of double broadaxe and horticulture to get extra traders. So that's nice. You know, it's a nice bonus, but it doesn't scale as some of the other civs. And to be fair, choosing to get wood or food can be good, but in general, there's plenty of food for you on the map, and farms are also better in castle and imp than trading food. The only real use you can do is trading wood when the map is like completely out of wood, or if you play a map like prairie or something, you can trade wood. But in general, you're just gonna trade gold, which they don't actually have any bonuses for. Like you don't get bonus gold compared to the other civs. Now, I do want to say I am not covering in this video water trade. Any civ can do water trade, and you get insane amounts of resources from it. So yeah, French trade is A tier because of Guildhall and wood. Well, what does Guildhall have to do with trade? It's a thing that has nothing to do with it. It's like saying that trade is good because they got knights. They're just units. So with that being said, usability of French trade is there, and you can use the bonus gold to produce knights. So there's a way for you to use that gold, right? It's not just dead in the water and you don't know what to do with it. There's plenty of stuff you can do. You can get eco upgrades, you can produce traders, you can get their crossbows, which are really strong. You can buy stone with it. So you can produce keeps, which reduce the cost of your units. So there's a lot of interactions with French getting a lot of gold and being able to spend it efficiently. Also, they got a lot of upgrades they can use, especially if you go Royal Institute in Age 3. So yeah, they can use gold. It's just not the best trade. The next one we're going to be talking about is Mongol. And Mongol is a B tier. Now, I do think, and actually I asked Marine Lord this as well, if Malians get nerfed sometime soon, Mongols would probably move up to A tier. But Malians as a civ is just really strong right now, and Mongol is not. So while Mongol trade used to be the best trade, actually, it used to be the best trade by far, not even close. In the most recent patch, the trading got 10% gold nerf. But another thing that a lot of people forgot is Mongol also received a specific trade nerf, which basically if you build the silver tree, or I think even without it, every 3, 5, 7 traders, you would get bonus resources. So at 3 traders, I think you would get bonus gold. I'm not sure how this works exactly. At 5, you would get food as well. And at 7 traders, you would get wood as well. But now they got nerfed and it's 5, 10, 15. So in order to start receiving the wood bonus, you need to go from 7 traders, how it used to be, to 15 traders. And this was not a big amount, by the way. This was 10% of the total amount. So if you're carrying 100 gold with your trader, you would get 10 food and 10 wood. So it's not massive, or so you would think, but these things add up. And the fact that now you need 15 traders to get bonus wood, and you need 10 traders to get bonus food, means that you do get quite a bit less resources than you used to be. On top of the 10% trade nerf, you actually just get not only less gold, but you also get less food and wood as Mongol. So the main reason why trade is not as good with Mongol is because Mongol as a civ struggles currently. And again, I am making this tier list for like, if people play properly, okay? This is not like a gold tier list. I feel like I gotta say this every time because there's always comments, oh, but in gold it's OP. It's like, okay, cool, but I don't know what's OP in gold because, you know, everything's OP in gold. But the problem is they cannot fight well in feudal, so they have a pretty hard time defending the trade. That's number one. Number two is they cannot get immediate return, or not immediate return, but they cannot spend gold as well as French, for example. So their trade is better, but for Mongol specifically, it's that value from gold is a bit worse because they cannot produce knights, for example. But other than that, there's another issue with Mongol trade, which is no walls, so it's harder to protect it. The Mangudai got nerfed, so, you know, before when you did Mongol trade, like 2 patches ago, you would, you know, try to defend it, maybe go some Mangudai, maybe some horsemen, then you will go castle, and you would produce Lancer Mangudai. Mangudai are quite a bit weaker, so it makes it a lot harder to chase enemy units and defend your trade. On top of not being able to build walls, it's a little bit more rough. Now, the bonuses for Mongol, by the way, I forgot to mention, once you build the silver tree, which is H2 landmark, your traders cost 60 wood, 30 gold. So for other civs, the traders cost 60 wood, 60 gold. For Mongols from silver tree, they cost 60 wood, 30 gold. And they produce traders 9 seconds faster. So I think the trader production time is 25 seconds. And it goes down to 16 seconds when you're producing them from the silver tree. And obviously you can move your silver tree next to the neutral market and then do the market trick so that you basically cut down the trip in half. Another thing that the Mongols have is they have 15% movement speed if you build towers, even if you don't go deer stones, because they count as cavalry. Towers do give you the Yem network for your cavalry, even in feudal. And your traders will move 15% faster, which is always nice. And another thing that pretty much only Mongol can do now, right? They can get stone with their traders, which is very, very important. So in Imperial Age, there's an upgrade in their market. So they also return stone, which is very, very good because you can make all the bonus upgrades with Mongol and infinite bombard towers. But like I said, even with all those different bonuses, if you compare French and Mongol, French has so many less things as far as bonuses go, but because you can defend the trade easier and you can actually get instant value by producing knights and stuff like that, and it's also less of a risk because you get 6 traders, or 7 if you go pro scouts, which you don't usually do as French, you get 6 traders for free. While as with Mongols, it's a bigger investment in order to do so, and it's a little bit harder to defend. But because it has so many more bonuses than the French, that's where I put it. And also in team games, Mongol trade, especially in 2v2, is still very, very strong. So, the next one we will be talking about is Malian. Now, Malian trade is A tier, and I'll explain the thought process behind it. So like I said, if this was, you know, in the next patch, if Mongol gets buffed a little bit and Malian get nerfed, this is probably switched around. So I'm making this video on 26th of April. I'm not sure when you guys are going to watch it, but if those civs are a little bit more tuned, I guess, I would probably switch this where Mongol trading would be A tier and Malian would be B tier. Now, Malian trading, let's go through the bonuses first. So Malian also has a landmark that gives you bonuses for trading, but even if you don't have that landmark, every time, so you can build 5 towers in the line of where you're trading. And basically every time your traders pass through, they kind of get, I'm not sure what it's called, but they basically they cash in for 8% of the total gold. So if your trader is carrying 100 gold, taxes, sure, toll, that's the word, thank you. So if your trader is carrying 100 gold, like let's say this is the trade route right here, if you have a tower here, when the trader passes, it will give you extra 8 gold on this tower, extra 8 gold on this tower, extra 8 gold on this tower, on this tower, on this tower. So by the time you pass, even though you've started with 40 gold, you will actually finish with 140. So that's the bonus for Malians. Now, if you build a landmark in H2, the trade network something, you will also get food with that. Now, let me explain how that works. It's a little bit complicated, but it's simple. So if on this trip you have 4 towers and the landmark is right here. So let's say the trader is moving with 100 gold. The way it works is with the landmark, if you pass next to the landmark with a trader that's carrying 100 gold, you will get the 8% gold, which is 8, but you will also get 8 food, okay? So you get food as well when you pass next to the landmark. And on the other towers, instead of getting just 8% gold, you will also get 50% food from that bonus gold you're getting. In this case, if you're carrying 100 gold, you would get 8 gold on the tower and 4 food as well. But when you pass next to the landmark, you would get plus 8 gold and plus 8 food. So they're basically getting secondary resource, kind of like Mongol and how Abbasid work. Now, the secondary resource is not massive, but it is noticeable. It is very, very noticeable. So again, if you're carrying 100 gold, you get 4 food, 4 food, and then you'll get 8, which is 16, and then you'll get another 8. So during the whole trip, you're gonna get 40 gold and 24 food bonus per trader, okay? So in total, you're gonna get 140 gold and 24 food for one trip. If you have towers and if you have that landmark built. Now, this toll caps out at 5, so you cannot have more than 5. I mean, you can have more than 5 towers, but you're not gonna get like infinite food and gold from it. And yeah. Now, the last thing regarding their bonuses that they do have, which a lot of people still don't know, but for every, now the numbers we don't know, not only me, but we don't know the numbers. But basically, every X amount of gold, whether that's 300 or 500 gold, I do not know, your upgrade research time for any upgrade gets reduced. So I don't know if you guys know, but it's possible with Malians for your upgrades to be 1 second. So it's possible to get biology for it to be 1 second, horticulture 1 second, wheelbarrow 1 second. You do need to do like 40-50 minutes of trading. It's based on gold that you return, not based on trades. So if you trade something ridiculous like 40-50 minutes with 50 plus traders, your research time will be 1 second. But this has basically the more you reduce the time in research, the slower the research continues to get reduced. So for example, the first second shaved off of research maybe takes like 300 gold. The second is like 500, and so on and so forth. So that's another bonus that Malians have that, yeah, it has diminishing returns. That's another bonus that Malians have that not many people know about. So whenever you play Malians next, pay attention and you'll notice the research times are lower. So that's pretty cool, right? You can basically get researches very late and they finish very, very quickly. Now, why is Malian A tier? And why did I say that if they get nerfed and Mongols get buffed, they would swap around? Well, Malian don't have any free traders like French, and also their traders cost full amount, which is 60-60. So because of that, in order to trade with Malians, you need to build extra markets next to the neutral market, then to do the market trick on the other side. Not only that, you have to build towers for the bonuses, right, for the bonus toll gold. Then you need to build your H2 landmark in a proper spot so that it passes through the trade network. And then you also need to build walls. And as you can see, that is way bigger investment than these two civs, right? Way, way bigger. It's a lot harder to pull off because you need a lot more investment. Now, the reason why it's better than Mongols right now is because their units in feudal are way stronger than Mongol units. You can go javelin throwers, you can go sofas, you can go Malian scouts, donzos, you can go archers. The units are just better than Mongol units, and I would say, I mean, even French units in feudal, Malian units are really, really, really strong. Now, another strong part about this for Malians is once you get gold, unlike French and unlike Mongol, you actually don't need to go out on the map and get food. You can just produce cows. All that gold that you're having, you can get the use out of it immediately. And this is one of the big things for trade. How well can you use your gold? And Malians can use it in so many different ways. You can produce extra traders, you can produce gold units in feudal, and you can produce cows. And obviously you can get upgrades just like every civ. But by producing cows, your gathering rate for food is really high, which is going to allow you to make enough units to defend. But not only that, you don't need to move out on the map. And this is very important because French, for example, even though they got a wall of the trade and stuff, you still need to get food somewhere. So you're exposing yourself at multiple locations at the same time, while Malian does not have that problem at all because you can just make cows under TC and you're chilling. Another thing is, because you have gold pits with Malians, you will have that trickle of gold coming in, so you don't need to actually mine gold usually with your workers. So instead of French having to mine gold with like 4 workers, with Malian, you only need a little bit on the start, but after that you can move those 4 workers on wood or food. So even though you're investing a lot of resources into towers and walls and stuff like that, you don't need to go on the map, which is one bonus. That's cool. And the second is you don't actually need to mine gold. The best part about Malian trade is the Farimba. So the Farimba is the castle landmark, which whenever you get to it, whenever you get to that point, you can instantly transition your gold that you're making into pure units. So you can produce units in Farimba for only gold, which other civs, you might have too much gold, or you might have to trade gold to buy food, for example. You'll be buying food in the market or buying wood, and you lose 30% of resources whenever you do that. But with Malians, you don't really have that, right? You're trading, you're getting a crap ton of gold, but you're actually using that gold very, very efficiently. The only downside is it has a little bit of a slower start, but if you defend in feudal and get to castle, you will have insanely strong pushes with Malians. And then in Imperial, obviously their strength falls off a little bit because as a civ, they're not very strong in Imperial. But like I said, their biggest strength is probably being able to use that extra gold immediately. And both French struggles with that in castle, and Mongol struggles with that in feudal. So, the worst civ for trading is a controversial one. I know I'm going to have a lot of, bronze to diamond players disagree with me. Maybe even some conqueror players will disagree with me. Whether it's for one-on-one on team games, but the worst civ, excluding the bottom 5, I guess, that have no bonuses, is Ottoman. Whatever I saw on my chat on Twitch, right, when I'm streaming, people ask what's the best civ, and instantly there's people like, Ottoman. That's the best trade civ. Ottoman is the worst trading civ out of these 5, and it's not even close. Like, we might as well add another layer here and then put them underneath. That's how bad it is compared to the first 4. Now, yeah, D-. Now, why is that? Because on paper, Ottoman is really good trade civ. There's multiple reasons for it. So, number 1, let's go through the bonuses that they have. So, they have a landmark, age to landmark, like these other civs, as you've noticed the pattern. All the good trade civs are having trade landmarks. They have a landmark that spawns with 2 traders that are garrisoned inside and spawn or give you passive gold. Now you can take out these traders and you can immediately send them to trade. And you're probably thinking, that's pretty cool. Not really. Because the landmark doesn't give you any bonus gold. It gives you 2 traders, yes, but it doesn't give you any bonus gold. You still have to make another market. For example, with Mongols, when you build a landmark, you can move the landmark next to neutral market. With Ottomans, you have to build 2 markets, or 3 markets even. Kind of like Malians, right? Your traders cost the same amount, and you do not get secondary resources Malians. Or as Ottomans, sorry. Let's finish the bonuses. So they have a Vizier point, which gives them 40% more gold, and they get 30% movement speed with the Imperial landmark, I forgot what it's called, and plus 8 armor for your traders. Again, on paper, this sounds great. So every time you pass next to any keeps in Imperial, if you have the keep landmark, you get 30% movement speed on your traders and 8 armor. So why is Ottoman trading not good? Well, first things first, Ottoman trading, yeah, Seagate Castle, thank you. Ottoman trading in feudal just sucks. It sucks for multiple reasons. Malian, even though they need to build multiple markets, they have passive gold from gold pits, so they kind of have economic bonus, right? Mongol can move their buildings, can move the landmark. French gets the traders for free. With Ottomans, you have to pay for everything. The civ does not have any economic bonuses. It's a civ that has military bonuses, but they do not help you in this situation. So you need to produce 2-3 markets at least, and then you need to protect it with walls if you want to make towers, with units, whatever. Now, if you do that, the problem is you actually need so many workers on food, because in order to defend it, you need to produce units, and you don't get any value out of gold, right? You don't get any value out of gold whatsoever, because you have no gold units as Ottoman in feudal. So the best thing you can do is produce more traders or buy food, right? There's nothing else you can do. You don't get a secondary resource, you don't get any shortcuts, nothing. Now, in castle is probably when Ottoman trading is the best, because Ottoman can have a huge power spike with knights and janissaries, and you can produce a lot of units with gold, but you are going to struggle quite badly with actually surviving till castle if you're playing against a good player. I don't remember the last time I've seen someone pull off successful Ottoman trade, because it is so easy to stop. Now, I know what a lot of people are thinking. I can see it in the chat. People are like, yeah, but Ottoman trade in Imperial, it's amazing. It sucks. Okay? It sucks. Why does it suck? It sucks, funnily enough, because of military schools. Military schools can produce gold units for free. So if you're getting gold from trade, I'm not talking when the map is mined out, by the way. When map is mined out, every civ can trade and make good gold with it and produce units. The problem is, getting gold from trading as Ottoman is not efficient as the other civs, because you have military schools that produce gold already for you for free. So instead of playing passive and trading and then making units, in a way, it's way better for you to get castle, mine the gold, get the stone, make military schools, produce gold with the military schools, and attack your opponent instead of playing defensive. And that's something that gets overlooked every single time. The biggest thing about Ottoman is military schools. They get gold units for free. They don't only get gold for free, they get gold units made for free, right? If you're in Imperial and you're maxed out, you basically are, it's kind of pointless to play Ottoman if you want to trade, because the military schools give you gold for free. So if you wanted to do trade, you might as well do it with the other civs, because Ottomans kind of have this passive gold in the late game. So if you're capped out at 200 supply, let's say you got this massive trade going, right? You're trading, you got gold for days, you got food for days. Your military schools are idle. The reason why your military schools are idle is because the units will prioritize popping out of the other buildings, and your free rotations with military schools will not be happening. So you're basically cutting off your left ball while playing like this, because what's the point? Not only that, you're going to be playing defensive. Ottoman is not a defensive civ. It has no defensive bonuses whatsoever. There's not a single bonus in there that's defensive, except the Seagate Castle, which if you survived by the time you reach Imperial with Ottoman trading, your opponent is either not very good, or you could have done that trading with English and you would have gotten the same result, except English is probably better, because English can have a lot of food very easily with farms, and defensively they're a lot better. So while on paper Ottoman gets absurd amount of gold, right? They get 30% movement speed next to castles. They get 40% extra gold from Vizier Point. The simple truth is you don't need that much gold. Now, I've heard argument being made once that because they make more gold, you need less traders. so you can have more supply for army. True, but also, whenever you do trade, have you really ever struggled with gold? Right? You don't need 50 traders on gold with pretty much any civ. You can do with a lot less, right? And last thing, which is a little bit of a bait, and at the same time, kind of good, kind of bad. In order to fully, fully get value out of this Seagate Castle landmark, you would need to build keeps along the line of your trade, right? Because you need to basically have a keep in range so they would get the movement speed. But if you do that, then you're placing all your keeps back first, and then your front line is exposed. So, yeah, it's just not that good. You can use its gold efficiently in Imperial and in Castle with Knights and Janissaries and Great Bombards. But Ottoman is an aggressive civ, and it does not make sense to play it defensively. If you do want to trade with Ottoman, just trade with some of the other civs. They're a lot better at it. And they will have way easier time defending because of it. Not to mention, getting military schools out while trading and while making units is incredibly hard because there are 250 resources, which is quite a lot. So, yeah. I have tried, by the way, Ottoman trade. I've tried all the trades. I've tried the Abbasid trade, Ottoman, French, Mongol, Malian. At a high level, I would say that Ottoman trade out of these 5 is just not viable. It's just not viable. It doesn't make any sense to do. Can you do it in team games? Yeah. But you can also do HRE trade in team games and be completely fine. So, that's it. And the number 1 civ, the best trade civilization, is Abbasid. Can't believe it. It's never been a trade civ. Well, there were attempts in the past to make it a trade civ, but Abbasid is by far, I would say it's probably a tier above the other civs in regards of trading. And we'll go through that, why that is. So, Abbasid traders, first of all, cost 40 wood, 40 gold. They do not cost 60-60, they cost 40-40. That's already pretty big. That's already a pretty big deal. They also get second resource. So if you go trade wing with Abbasid, let's start with that. In House of Wisdom, if you age up with Abbasid and you go trade wing, you spawn 3 traders immediately. So it's not like French where they slowly build up. It's not like Ottoman where it gives you 2. It gives you 3 immediately. The moment the feudal age up finishes, you can also get an upgrade in House of Wisdom that allows your traders to return with second resource. 3, 4, 5 traders. I mean, you should never go trade in Castle, and then in Imperial, whether you spawn with 3 or 5 doesn't matter. You get a secondary resource, which is 25% from the gold. So for example, let's use the 100 gold example because it's the simplest one. If you're getting 100 gold per trade, if you get the House of Wisdom upgrade, you will also return a secondary resource, which you should always put food early on. So you're going to get 100 gold and 25 food. And now you might be wondering, but that's like Malians. Yes, except you don't got to build towers. You just do it. The only thing you have to do is get an upgrade that is 50 food and 125 gold, which is still less than 4 or 5 towers. And your traders are cheaper. So getting the Abbasid trade up is a lot faster. It's a lot earlier. And you can create multiple markets almost from the get-go in the neutral trade market and then start trading. Now, this is the best part. As you're trading with Abbasid, the first 3 traders are going. As they're hitting the neutral trade market, your upgrade will finish. So already on the first trip, right, you will be getting not only gold, but food as well, which is very, very nice. And then you can redirect the traders from House of Wisdom to the market in the corner, so you get the maximum value. And This is the best and the strongest part of the Abbasid trade in one-on-ones or team games. It is extremely, extremely, extremely hard to stop the first trade. And here's the thing about traders in the current game. If a trader completes one trip and it dies, it paid off. And because Abbasid traders spawn immediately, you cannot prevent the first trip unless you're Malian, which is why you don't trade against Malians. You cannot prevent the first trip. So Abbasid, even if they do the trade wing, they trade and they lose the traders, it paid off already, right? And that's the biggest thing, because you get the value super quickly. You get the value the fastest out of any CET. You get big value because you get secondary resource. And your traders are cheaper. So the other bonuses that they have, by the way, is the castle upgrade gives them +5 armor on the traders. So if you get raided, they take a lot less damage. And then in Imperial, you get an upgrade that is +30 gold on your traders. So now when you compare best to worst, right? Let's compare Ottoman, because a lot of people that don't really understand this whole thing say that Ottoman is the best trade because they get a lot of gold. So Ottoman has a vizier point for 40% extra gold. Abbasid has 30% extra gold, but they also bring in secondary resource. Now they don't have movement speed, right? But nor do Ottoman until Imperial. And Abbasid traders are 40-40 instead of 60-60. Yeah. The secondary resource, yeah. So the secondary resource is 25% of your main resource. So by getting the Imperial upgrade with Abbasid, right? So your gold goes from 100 gold to, I think it's 130, right? Then the food that you're getting is 25% out of 130. So yeah, you're also getting, a buffed secondary resource. Now, why does this help you? Well, with Ottoman, I'll use Ottoman as an example because they're kind of similar, but they're polar opposites in the ranking. With Ottoman, you're going to need a lot of food. You're going to need a lot of workers to be able to sustain food or unit production. But with Abbasid, the fact that they're getting secondary resources, food, makes it incredibly easy to produce units and to age up, by the way. It makes it way, way easier. And when you play these trade civs, each one, you will notice that Abbasid you can feel the extra resources. Like as you're playing, you will feel that, oh, I'm not struggling for food. I'm not struggling for wood even because the traders are cheaper. And it's just a lot better early on because you can make a bigger boom with your traders a lot quicker because they're cheaper. Now, regarding its usage for trading, Abbasid cannot use trade as efficiently as Malian or French in feudal. So they can't produce any units with gold in feudal. They cannot produce cows. So why are they S tier? Well, the secondary resource makes a massive difference. And the fact that you cannot spend gold is bad, but also can be good, because if you put like 15 workers on wood and then you put 30 on food and you're constantly producing horsemen, spearmen, archers, traders, whatever, it's so easy to just stop production, buy a little bit of food because you have 30 workers on food, and then age up. And then as you're aging up, you're not using any workers on the age up, so you can start mining stone if you want to start building keeps or stone walls, or you can just start throwing production for the gold units. And once you reach castle, you will be able to produce like pure knights or, with some crossbows and stuff extremely easily because of that secondary resource that is food. So that's very nice. And Abbasid, if untouched in castle, you will not beat it. The amount of units that will be coming at you because of all the trade is absolutely insane. When you explain like that, Abbasid trade seems broken. In one-on-one, if you don't stop it, it's a lot harder than the other civs. Like, I feel like, for example, while Malian trade is very strong, if Malian trade, if you harass it a little bit and the trade is going, but you also have something going in your base, maybe you have like 8 relics or you got like 3 TCs or 2 TC China, I still think you have a chance. If Abbasid is untouched and it reaches castle, you will die. Because they have just a massive exponential growth because their traders are cheaper, right? So basically every 3 traders, you can look at it this way. Every 3 traders made is an extra trader for Abbasid. No, every 2 traders. So whenever, if for example, Ottoman makes 2 traders, Abbasid will make 3 traders for that cost. Which is insane. Like that difference is insane, right? So now if you multiply that, if your opponent is not attacking you, you can make like 6 markets. I've had games with Abbasid where the opponent was like Mongol and he was going to trade. And I was Abbasid, and he was like, okay, let's trade kind of thing. We didn't attack each other. I had like 6 markets producing very early in feudal, and Mongol was producing over like 2 markets because Mongol cannot sustain that many, even though their silver tree produces 30 gold cheaper. That's just silver tree. So, yeah. Now, I wanted to rank the civs like this. Based on if they have bonuses, if they don't have bonuses. Now, I do want to say some civs, in my opinion, are actually get more value out of Ottoman, which is kind of funny to say. Like, I think that, for example, I'll just quickly go through this. English, China, and Rus do not get as much, or sorry, English and China. Probably HRE if you have relics. HRE if you have relics. China in taxes gets a lot of gold in the late game, and English gets a lot of gold with farms. These 3 civs are probably technically the worst trading civs, or if you do trade, you do not need a lot of traders. Delhi, I would even say, is probably not necessarily a better trading civ, but will get more value out of trade, okay? Because elephants are batshit insane expensive, and unless you're holding sacred sites in the late game, even if you have relics with Delhi, you will not be able to produce units because Delhi is very, very gold heavy. So the gold that you're getting from your trade, Delhi will get more value out of it than Ottoman will for unit production. And then you have Rus that does have a lot of passive gold on its own that usually gets the relics. But Rus is extremely gold heavy civ because of Streltsy and because of their knights and siege and everything else. So there it is. Yeah, there's the guy in the chat says Ottoman DKW, they have 40% income. It's okay. He wasn't listening, or he wasn't here. Maybe he just joined. If you are interested, scroll back 10 minutes and you'll hear the explanation. Anyway, that's it. I hope you guys, if you're watching on YouTube, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. Twitch gamers, let's keep going, brother.